All right. We're live. We were having some issues with StreamYard for whatever reason, but all right, we're good. So, what up, everybody? I'm back live streaming again because I just found out something. I got to get my hours up. I just passed 3,000 hours. So, thank you guys for helping out with that. But now I got to get to 4,000 hours. So, yeah, if you ever do YouTube, don't ever take a break. No, I'm kidding. Take a break. Absolutely. Take a break if you need to. But if you take a break long enough, you are going to have to work your way all the way back up. But good thing I had a whole library of videos and streaming helps as well. So today, let's talk about iPhone controversy. Yeah, iPhone controversies, they sell and they sell better than anything else. Like I know there's some Samsung controversies that will sell, but iPhone controversies hands down sell better than anything else. And it could be anything. Anything could be a controversy. Right now, the current controversy is Scratchgate. Okay. Going into the Apple store and picking up phones and seeing scratches on the demo units. That's the controversy. Seeing people drop their phones and dent their phones and have scratches once again is a controversy. We even got a new controversy, y'all. We got a controversy where even people are criticizing the back glass on the phone. Like literally looking at the back glass and they're just like, hey, this back glass is flexing. And I kid you not, like I saw this on Twitter earlier and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, come on. Like, what else do we have to possibly go through with this phone? And it ain't even been a week. Let me go ahead and look this up right now. iPhone 17 Flex. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen here. Once again, I was just scrolling and I'm just like, dog, really? Or like, come on now. But hey, once again, I'll put it up on screen in a second here. A says, hi, Trent. I was about to sleep, but I see you live. That's love, brother. Hey, man, look, if you want to get some sleep, go ahead and get some sleep. You ain't got to stay up. Like I said, I'm doing this because your boy needs to get his hours back up. Right now, we're at like 3,000 watch time. I got to get up to 4,000. So I'm probably going to be streaming and doing videos almost every single day. So let me go ahead and put this up here. All right. So here's the video here that I ran across. And just to be the judge for your just to be the judge for yourself. So I'm gonna mute this. But basically what he's doing is he's pressing on the back of either an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max, and he's showing the glass starting to like to bow in a little bit. And he's like, hey, should I be worried about this? Is there a gap? Is this another quality issue type thing or whatnot? And here's what I say about controversy sells. If you look down here, this video, it was on September 21st. It's got 2.1 million views. All right. Like this is just one of those things that somebody could easily take and turn and run with it and just go crazy with it. And that's what I mean. Controversy sells. It's a thing. The tiniest little nick or scratch or this, that, or whatever. Like, come on now. And here's my explanation for this. So when they redesigned this phone, you know, I'll show my phone as an example here. When they redesigned this phone, they went from this type of style, the same style that everybody said that they were bored with. Oh my God, we need innovation. Oh my God, it's the same phone. I can't believe this. How dare you force us to buy the same phone again and again? That was like the same thing, right? We now have a new phone with a new unibody construction. Because I remember back in the days when you had the 13 Pro Max, and if you broke the back glass on the 12 Pro Max or the 13 Pro Max, it was a super big repair. Now on the new phones, if you break the glass, you can, replace that a little bit easier. But now we have this whole new unibody thing. And now on the back of iPhones, we got the little cutout square of glass. Now, if you are trying to push on the back of a phone, yeah, okay, maybe. I haven't gone to an Apple store to test this out. I don't think I will go to an Apple store to test this out. It just seems like a very ridiculous thing to do or to poke at. But once again, it gets the engagement, it gets the views every single year. Every nick, scratch, bump, bruise, this, that, iPhone, Samsung, Google. Like at this point, it should just be like tech grifting at this point because that's what's getting all the views. And to be honest, I think, hey, maybe some people are making money off of this and that's that's what they got to do, but it's everything. Every single little possible thing that we can talk about and complain about to blow it up. Oh my god, it's such a controversy. And once again, I said this before in a previous video earlier today. This ain't gonna last more than 2 weeks. It's the first weeks. This is where it's time to get the views. It's time to complain about everything. It's time to turn everything into an issue or into a gate every single time. Don Coven says, I'll take my chance. I'll take my 15 Pro Max out the case sometimes. And I'm like 18 months in and it looks brand new. Like Travis says, the pocket always wins. It does. And I watched Travis MCP's video today. He's absolutely right. And the same thing I'll show people, and I'll show people this before. Like, this is my 15 Pro Max. Now you might see like a little bit of a ring stain on there. Is that a gate? Because you can see a ring impression on there. But look at his phone. Okay. Look at this bad boy. No chips, no dents, no bumps, no bruises, none of that. Look at that. Perfect condition. Okay. I could sell this almost as mint. And it has a 100% battery health because I replaced the battery with it at Apple. But all it took was a case. All right? Case. You look at the back of your phone, you see that little window flexing or whatever, you worried about it, put a case on it. It's not hard. it's not hard, but people swear they got to find something, anything in the chink in the armor. And it don't matter what it is. It could be the iPhone 16e, it could be the iPhone 17, it could be the Air, it could be the Pro, it could be the Pro Max. It could it could be, hey, you know what? We put stainless steel on this phone. Oh my god, it's too heavy now. All right, well, we put titanium on there. We put titanium on there. Oh, well, the sides aren't reflective anymore. I'm so upset. Like this sucks. This is more of an industrial type of look. Like, where's the elegance? Where's everything gone? But weren't we complaining about shiny sides and things being fingerprint magnets? Every single year, no matter where you go, you can make a whole ass complaint. Like straight up, you can complain about anything. Think about it. You can find any complaint and it will fly. It will fly farther than any video that was going to help somebody out. Period. It's glass, not steel. Exactly. Like what do people want? What do they want? Pick a struggle, as other people would say, right? Michael Pepper Tech says it's easier to complain that it's actually to put some thought into who these devices are for. That's my thinking. Exactly. We saw the same thing with the Air series. And one of my points in the videos I was making earlier about, you're getting tech reviewers who have pro level phones and they're talking about phones that really, really aren't meant for them. And they're like, well, this phone isn't for me. I really don't see the point. Exactly. It's not for you. And it's so hard. I could tell you myself, it's so hard to come from a pro or a pro max down to an air and live with the compromises that you have with that because it's not a function first phone. It's not. It really isn't. It's more of a form. It's more of an art thing. Okay. Now I'll be honest. I used to think that was like kind of dumb back in the day. Like, why would somebody choose art over a function? Like, that's really stupid. But people actually do that. That's the actual thing. There's a customer base for that. And I will say this, and this might be, a little controversial or whatnot, but It's our fault as tech reviewers. And yes, I'll include myself in the tech reviewer space, but it's our fault because after a certain point, we started complaining. Yes, we started complaining that we're at peak smartphone, phones are boring. What's the point of upgrading? They're not doing anything new. And these were complaints that we heard throughout the years. We heard this all the time. Every single time a new phone came out, there was somebody complaining, I'm bored. I'm bored. Show me something new. Show me something different. And we do this in every single time any company goes and does anything different. It could be Samsung, it could be Apple, it could be Google. Anytime they try something different, anytime they switch something up, do we go and look and say, yes, we finally have a new design, we finally have a new phone, we finally have something different to talk about? No, we go for the, well, what's wrong with it? Where's the compromise? Where's the issue? And people go running straight back, just like these phones here, the Pro Max phones, the ones that look the same every single year. Those were boring. Those didn't have many upgrades. We don't have anything to talk about. We'll run back and we'll hug these precious phones and say, "Oh my God, this phone is so much better. I love this phone." Magically, I love everything about this phone again, even though I got done talking about how boring it was and how innovation doesn't exist and how iterative the updates are and the changes and whatnot. You get something different. Okay. I remember this with the S25 Edge. The S25 Edge, people were like, well, it's just a thin phone. Who cares? Who asked for this? Y'all did. Y'all said y'all was bored. Y'all, or I'll say we because I don't want to be pointing fingers, but still, that's what happened. Everybody said they were bored. Everybody said we ain't got nothing to cover. What's the point of me turning on my camera and talking about this stuff? What's the point of me going out and spending money on this when it's all the same stuff? You got something different, and something different came along, and you trashed it every single time. Instead of looking at the product for what it is, what the product is, we look at the product as what it isn't. And that's it. And then you drop the product off and you move on, you go on to the next thing, you find something else to complain about. But controversy sells, it makes money. So, like, okay, salacious titles. We all know as creators and YouTubers that the more salacious the title, the more clickbaity the title, the more we can do stuff with that, right? The more that we show a picture of something broken or something negative or something that could possibly be a whole controversy, something to gossip about. That's what works. That's what blows up, you know. And so on one hand, I get the game. I understand where some people are going because they're making money and doing this and doing that. But at the same time, the hypocrisy is hilarious. Okay, just one time, I just need somebody just to sit back and just say, "You know what? Okay, let me actually give this a shot." All right? But it's not gonna happen. It's very few and far in between that you see that. We would rather show off the worst parts of every single thing and still be quote unquote tech enthusiasts or whatnot, or oh hey, we're helping you find out the real about these phones. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm waiting for this phase to be over because I don't know if we'll ever get back to the old days of tech where it's like more about the tech itself, but it's just literally controversy after controversy after controversy after controversy. I don't get it. It's it's stupid. Ah man, oh man, oh man. Michael Pepper Tech says it's awkward when in the middle of the bitching someone does an ad read. It is. Hey, this phone is so terrible and it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that. But here's a word from our sponsors. Go buy their product. Now I could understand if it was like, hey, they did a sponsor ad read, like, like with the destruction videos or like the testing videos. So you have a phone, you drop it on the ground, it breaks, like durability testing, and then you say, "Hey, here's a sponsored ad from Magback or whatever the case maker is, and you're offering a case to help somebody protect their phones." I kind of understand that point, but if it's something like, "Oh, our sponsor is Squarespace. Now let's talk about this phone that nobody cares about." Like that stuff is kind of interesting to say the least. Michael Pepper Tech says, "Everyone wanted matte black and sides until they gave it to us. Everyone complained about no colorful pro phones, and now they want black back. It's ridiculous." Oh man, look, you're right, because I remember when everybody was like, "These colors are boring. We're tired of the same old boring colors. Give us more colorful colors." And for whatever reason, orange just seems to be like either it's the ugliest thing known to man or it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But hey, it's new. Now, I will say Apple needs to go ahead and make a red iPhone. Okay. Go ahead and make a red iPhone Pro Max, and also go make a pink Pro Max. I'm sorry. There will be enough people who are going to buy a pink Pro Max because we had a purple Pro Max. And I still think that did well enough for what it was. I knew people that specifically went out because they had that purple and they went out and got that iPhone 14 Pro Max. They got it in purple and they loved it. So they definitely need to do some other colors, but there's nothing wrong with change. But like I said, pick a struggle. Do we want to complain and say that things are always the same and then we want to get mad when things change up? Or do we want to get mad that things are changing all the time and we want things to remain the same? Once again, pick a struggle. um, let's see. I love my iPhone Air. Performance great. The 11 Pro Max was the top of the line device, and the Air is rated for better battery life. And one of the cameras is probably better than the 11 Pro Max cameras. Yeah. So, like, here's the other thing: everybody is not upgrading from last year's model. There are people who are upgrading from iPhones that are 7 to 8 years old, and the Air is significantly better than those previous phones. But we have to do the ridiculous comparison games because for some reason comparisons do so well on YouTube. Like people like a good fight for whatever reason, even if it don't make no sense. And my monitor was in the shot the whole time, so we're gonna slide that out the way. Anyways, but yeah, people always seem to default to that, and people just go running in. So I guess we're just, farming out the views and following the trends. Who knows? Yo, Brad, what's going on, man? Don Colvin says, "That's why I don't watch a lot of tech videos anymore because it's people complaining about absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. There's nothing wrong with somebody liking a device and saying they like it. It's absolutely nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. And we lose most people, to be honest, like regular people don't care. If you look at regular people, most regular people, they may or they may not know the number of the iPhone that they have. What they look at is they just have an iPhone and maybe they count the cameras. And regular people are way more forgiving about stuff because they actually just chose the phone for whatever reason they chose it. It could be because they like the phone. It could be because they got a good deal on the phone. It could be they've always had a good experience. It could be that maybe they always wanted an iPhone and the iPhone didn't have a feature that they wanted and now they do. I mean, the list goes on. Even if we go back to talking about the Air and we talk about the list of complaints with the Air, like, oh my God, the battery is so small. You got people out there that do not doom scroll and they're not so hopelessly addicted to their phones to where they're using it all the time for every single thing and killing their battery life. Okay. I think my dad, when he was still alive, he had one of the oldest Samsung phones that I had ever seen. I want to say it was maybe a S3 or a S4, and he was using that phone up until about 2 years ago. Think about that. How long? Think about how bad that battery had went down. But he didn't care because he wasn't chronically on his phone. He might have made a call. He might have went on an app or searched anything online, and then he got off his phone and he just let it do his thing. Like people adjust to that stuff. The fact that you got people out here saying that, oh man, the phone only would last for let's say 8 a.m. to about 7 p.m. That's not enough. It's a thin phone. It's not designed to be this super battery thing. And Apple told you, okay, let's stop with people being blind. Apple told you what this was. You can go on the site, you can read the specs, just like when people went online and they read the specs and said that there was no bottom speaker on there. Oh my God, how dare they? I can't believe this only came. You already knew. They told you. They didn't hide this from you. I can understand if somebody was like literally hiding, but it's there for you to go look and find out for yourself. You have more than enough information before you even buy the phone to make a decision on there. But no, we got to go back and complain and find different stuff, and it's just on and on, on and on every single year. And just like Michael's saying here, it's funny how people are saying the Air must be bad because they offered a battery, but they're asking for a MagSafe battery for other iPhones too. Make up your minds, people. Yes. Now, I will admit, I looked at Apple and I said, yo, it does seem weird that you would make a MagSafe battery only for the Air and not for the rest of the phones. Like to me, that seems kind of weird. But that battery helps out that phone. I could understand somebody could make the argument and say, you know what? If they came out with the phone, but there was no MagSafe battery, that's a deal breaker for me. There's no way to extend the battery life on here. That's a deal breaker. Okay, I get that. But they came out with the battery. And even then, it's an optional thing. And most people learn to live around limitations of the phone. I said this before. There's people out there with iPhone SEs right now. iPhone SE probably has the worst battery life of an iPhone that I've seen. And there's people at my job that make that thing work. People that still have lightning port iPhone SEs are still making that thing work and they're still using it for work and they're still charging their phones. Okay. They're okay with it because their job provided it. There are some people that are still okay with it because they bought the phone. There was what's his name from the Avengers, Chris Evans. That dude for the longest time was still using an iPhone 6. I don't even think it was a 6S. It was a 6 because the iPhone 6 still had a headphone jack and he still wanted that phone because it had a headphone jack. I think we were maybe on like the iPhone 10 or 11, somewhere around there, and he was still holding on to that old phone. So it's some people out there that don't care anything but what us as tech snobs even have to say. Like it's ridiculous. Yo, Genosis, I see you in here. Hey, we was talking about your favorite color earlier, orange, right? how much of a controversy that was. Let's see. Michael Hertzett says, Trent, my post about the Air blew up 170K views now. There were two comments that were ridiculous, but for the most part, it was people loving theirs or asking questions. And you know what? That's kind of a good thing to see. It's good to see some positivity out there. It's good to see some people actually enjoy something and you actually have another crowd of people who are enjoying it. I mean, right now, when I look at Technically T's video and he was talking about the Air and like his opinions on it or whatnot, there was a lot of support behind there. Even though my video didn't get many views, there were some people coming out like, yeah, look, I agree. This doesn't make sense. Like, I want this phone just because I want it. I don't care because somebody else has something better that they don't like this phone. Like straight up. Don says, can you believe that two different operating systems do things differently? Total outrage. And that's where it's kind of hard to compare Samsung and iPhone because one of the conversations that always happens is this. It's like, "Oh, well, Samsung has this. Why doesn't the iPhone have it?" I'm like, if you're a Samsung customer, 9 times out of 10, you're looking forward towards another Samsung phone. You're not a Samsung customer looking at Apple and saying, "Damn, Apple doesn't have this. I'm upset." No, you're happy because your phone has what you want on it. Same thing with iPhone. There are people who are iPhone users who are not looking at Samsung like, "Damn, my phone doesn't have this." Some people are just like, whenever it comes out on iPhone, that's when I'm gonna get it. Same thing with Samsung. I know right now Apple has this whole like, selfie camera thing to where now you no longer have to hold the phone like this to go into the landscape. You can hold the phone like this and you can choose between portrait and landscape and all that other stuff, right? That's not on the Samsung phones. You don't see all the Samsung knights and Samsung people running out to the streets. Oh my God, have you seen the iPhone selfie camera? My phone sucks now. They're not about to go drop their Samsung phones and go buy a brand new iPhone just because it has that feature. You know who does that? Tech reviewers. And even then, the tech reviewers that buy it don't even stay with it long enough to even wait the thing out. Because for most people, this is a business and it's going to be like, hey, I'm going to buy this phone. I'm going to switch to this phone for a week or 2 weeks, just long enough to get the views. And then I'm gone. I'm going back to my original phone. I'm not riding it out with this phone. No, the tech reviewers are the only ones switching up like that. Regular people do not care. They don't look. Regular people are gonna buy a phone one time and they gonna ride that out. They gonna stick with it. Okay. They not spending this money every single year. Now you do have some people that are on these, upgrade every single year plans and stuff like that, or maybe they're willing and dealing with the carriers, but most of the population ain't doing this shit every year. They not jumping back and forth between phones. They don't have multiple lines and SIMs to be swapping in and out, back and forth, up, down, back, forward, left, right, and sideways. Like, no, like, absolutely not. Let's see. The iPhone Air makes me think of the flip of the razor, but it doesn't fold. It's got the biggest battery or best cameras, but it's thin and it's what users who want, or I'm sorry, it's that what the users who want who buy. I cannot read right now. Jesus. Y'all can read that. I'm still wrapped up in my brain about everything that I just said, but this still kind of goes down to another conversation that people have been having. And once again, controversy sells. Instead of people just coming out and saying, hey, here's the iPhone Air, here's what it is, here's where the discourse is going now. Now it's the iPhone Air it's a beta project. Once again, finding a way to drag down everybody else's excitement. Oh, it's a beta project. Apple's just getting ready for their foldable. It's probably going to die. No one really cares. I'm like, dog, every single time, every single time. Hey, you're having a good time. You're enjoying something. Pooh, we're going to shoot that out the air. Like, come on. Like, if people are going to use that argument about beta project. Everything brand new might as well be a beta project. Every single brand new thing, every single new feature, every single new camera, every single new button, every single new AI this or AI that. You might as well call them all beta features. If somebody has to pay money to get access to a feature that everybody else can't get or something that is expensive, the easiest way for people to disprove it is it's a beta project. I can use that with anything. I can use that for most things. I can look at somebody with whatever and be like, yeah, it's a beta project because, I don't see the value in it. But that's just my opinion. Brad says teardowns revealing that the Air makes battery uses the exact same battery as the iPhone Air itself. Actually explains why they didn't make a battery pack that was universal. Oh my gosh, that dictation sucked. Stupid Siri. I was trying to say. Yeah, I don't know exactly what was going on, but Siri failed you. it failed you hard. I was trying to say that the iPhone Air Max A battery pack uses the exact same battery cell as the iPhone Air phone, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Yo, what up, Genosis? Let's see. Siri is drunk. Yes, Siri is very, very drunk. Samsung have square sensors next year. Yeah, and if they here's the thing, if they get square sensors next year, that is good for everybody. Okay. We need to stop this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, this other phone has a feature. I don't need it. Screw that other phone. And then your phone gets the feature, and all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, you should be happy that other people have access to stuff. We should be happy that phones are more connected and are more intertwined now and not so separated because of just decisions. Marco says, I usually update my iPhone bi-yearly. Might skip out this year to wait for the photo iPhone sometime in 2026 or 2027, hopefully. Hey, that is the beauty of technology today. You can sit there and wait. I remember back in the day when people were like, man, I cannot wait to upgrade to the new phone because this phone sucks. It's breaking down. I'm having issues with it. And upgrading every year was a necessity because phones were just jumping leaps and bounds every single year. Now people are in a position to where they can straight up hold out and wait another year. That's something that people have forgotten and they don't really appreciate it anymore. Let's see. Samsung has aluminum ultra phones next year. I bet they probably will because Samsung likes to follow behind Apple. And to be honest, I think Apple and Samsung, they're just hugging each other behind closed doors. They're not sitting here like forget all that stuff you see on Samsung Twitter where they troll or whatnot. It's once again they're taking part in the engagement. It's a racket. We all know that. But look, if Samsung were really petty, okay, if they really didn't care, if they really weren't about business, they wouldn't sell Apple a damn thing. They would just keep everything for themselves and say, go get your own stuff from somewhere else. But it's a symbiotic relationship. Samsung makes money by Apple buying stuff from them, and Apple gets to have the displays made a specific way, how they want them made, and they can have somebody to rely on to do that. Like, what's wrong with that? I don't get it. Let's see. Do. What's crazy to me is that the MagSafe battery weighs more than the iPhone Air itself. It weighs as much as my iPhone in the case. That shows impressive engineering for the phone. Yes, that's one. The one thing I think everybody skipped past the part was the fact that they fit all of that stuff in that area up there. I think people look at it and they're like, okay, it's amazing for 5 seconds, and then they're just done. Like that took some engineering, okay? That took some innovation, that took some work, and that is the main part about the phone. The fact that that exists and they've got the battery in the phone, like, that's impressive. Now, people could come out and say they don't agree with the price, and you know what? I'm not gonna fight them on that. There's some people that, for $1,000, it's not enough. It's other people for $1,000, it is gonna be enough. That's more of a personal preference type of thing. Hey, if you want to, wait a couple of months and the price is gonna drop anyway. But still, like, for the most part, I give kudos to that phone for what it is. Initially, when I first looked at it, I'm like, I don't know, maybe, but now that I see that I'm not the target customer and somebody else might enjoy it, hey, go ham. Enjoy that shit. Let's see. Marcus says that's really not enough to justify an upgrade. I like my 15 Pro as it is. Might repair it myself with a new screen and battery. You can do that. It only took me like $90 to replace the battery in this phone, and it's brand new. Works just like it did on the first day. No slowdown, no issues. Lasts all day as far as the charge. If I'm not just out here with max brightness, just using it all goddamn day long. Like, I feel like there's some people that just really go out of their ways to prove a point, and they're like, "See, I was able to do this." And to be honest, every single phone out there, every single one that quotes all day battery life is saying it with like moderate usage. All day battery life does not mean I'm using my phone all day, nonstop, no breaks, max brightness. Think about a car, okay? What car could you fill up the tank with gas? What normal everyday car or even an SUV? What vehicle could you fill up with gas and drive it for 24 hours straight without stopping, with the lights on, going at maximum speed? Okay. You have people out there that swear that you're supposed to be able to game for 10 hours on a phone, or a phone is never supposed to overheat. You're supposed to take this phone and push it to the max and then be upset that, oh man, I killed the phone battery in 3 hours. Do you realize how small this thing is? These things aren't very large. The fact that they can do the things that they can do and the capabilities that you have are there. But once again, we have multiple ways to charge phones. We got fast charging. We got wireless charging. You got chargers in cars. You got chargers at work. You got chargers at home. You have got external battery packs, whole ass external battery packs that you can use to charge these phones. But it's like, no, I would never charge my phone. I would never top off the phone. I expect to get the phone and use it all day and make it home without putting a plug inside my phone after abusing it all day long. Like, the ridiculousness has to stop. It does. It's the only product in the range worth the engineers' time to actually try. Agreed. Give the engineers too much flexibility like the Pro phones this year. It'll be so boring for them. Well, I mean, hey, we can find a way to make anything boring as tech reviewers. Michael Pepper Tech says iPhone mini sucks until 5 years after it's gone. Plus model gets great battery, but people hate on it, and now it's gone. They want it back. iPhone Air is a quote just a year device. Yeah, man, the hate is real. Did you see One UI 8.5 is bringing liquid glass style? I'm over here laughing. That is hilarious because liquid glass got ripped to pieces. The animations got trashed. Everybody was up and down about it. And look, this is what I'll say about liquid glass. At first, when you first use it, it's kind of a switch up, right? When you first see it going back from the old iOS to this one, it's kind of switch up. I used the beta version where it had liquid glass, and I had been using the beta version for months. And guess what happened over the couple of months of me using it? I adjusted to it and I got used to it. I went from like, I don't know about this to like, I don't even know setup at all. I don't care. I set up my customization and did what I needed to do, and everything was cool. That's the thing, is like people don't use stuff long enough to get used to it. They just make these snap judgments like, "Oh my god, I wanna go." It's like, no. And then, like 2 or 3 years later, they're like, "Oh my god, how could I live without this?" So everybody just rushes just to complain and be upset. Joseph says, "Hey, hey, I'm a max brightness scumbag." There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to use your phone to its highest capability, but trying to max out a phone and max out the battery life, that doesn't happen anywhere. Like, everything runs off of like doing something in the middle, like having a balance. Like, it's either you balance out the usage with the battery or when you charge it or your screen brightness, this, that, whatever. Having the capability to go up to 3,000 nits is just amazing. But having your phone at 3,000 nits and expecting it to last 24 hours at 3,000 nits is um, insane. That's crazy work. Now, I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm just saying like most people go to that extreme. Let's see. I got some pretty deep scratches on the 15 Pro, so I might end up using my Apple Care Plus for the screen and battery replacement. Got my 15 Pro in Hong Kong, so it has a physical SIM slot. Hey, man, look, use that Apple Care, okay? Straight up use it. Why is nobody talking about the iPhone Air using silicon anode technology for the battery, similar to the carbon silicon technology that other companies are using, half as thick as the Pro's battery? Because that's not controversial enough. Okay. That's not something to complain about. Advancements in technology are a positive thing. We must find the most low hanging, stupid fruit to pick up and say, oh my God, this is rotten. I can't believe this. Like straight up. That's the way they're going about it. Oh yeah, remember how the rumors were all saying that the iPhone Air wouldn't have MagSafe to save space? Well, Apple proved them wrong. Oh man, if that thing did not have MagSafe, people would have lost their minds. They would have been upset to the next degree. I didn't get used to it. Thank F. I have the option not to buy the new phone. Hey, you got the option not to get it. Liquid ass. And you know what? Genosis, if you don't like it, that's cool. But I'm just saying, if if you at least tried it, if you at least saw it long enough for it to be a thing, and then you didn't say you liked it, okay, fine. But a lot of the snap judgments where, and this is where I talk about hypocrisy and stuff. There are people out there that will trash something. Oh my God, this sucks. This is terrible. And then they'll turn around 3 months later. This was the most amazing thing ever. I can't believe people actually hated on it. And they're the person that hated on it. It's so hilarious. Tech politics is a thing. I will say that. I did say that in a tweet, but tech politics is absolutely 100% an actual thing. See, I'm screwed forever though if I don't get over liquid because it's never going away. If there's a future iPhone, like just don't just hey, there's a group of people out there that buy iPhones and they never update them. Oh, you'll be fine. All right. Unless you have like super sensitive information that you don't want stolen off your phone, you'll be fine. No one's gonna care if you're on. Look, I'll tell you right now, there's people out there that are still on iOS 15. Bet they're still on there. They just never updated it. They were like, yo, turn off updates. I don't care. As long as I can make phone calls and still text message, don't care. Let's see. I think we already got this one. Also, micropaper tech, you need to have your mindset as the consumer slash end user. Now, a lot of people outside of tech space would really care that much about battery technology. And here's what I'll say. If you wrap it up in a pretty bow, it's something that people will care about. But it's also one of those things that if you choose to omit it and not bring it up, then people wouldn't care because no one's putting it out there. Like, let's say Apple was like, "Hey, we don't want you to we don't want to control the interview, but could you please mention this technology because this is the technology that made it happen, right? Is there a way you can break this down to where the regular everyday person could understand?" And I think that would be a cool thing because one of the beautiful things about being in IT and working with technology is a lot of times regular people have questions. You're like, "Yo, why do we even do this? Why? This doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. Tell me why." And when you break it down in a way to where you tell somebody like, "Hey, this is necessary for this to happen and this is how cool this is and this is how this exists," a lot of times people are more open and accepting to that if you present it in a way that they can understand. But when you take it and you make it like nerd speak and you got to be super smart to understand this, it alienates a lot of people. I even use the example like this because someone asked me, they were like, well, if you have a 256 gig hard drive, why would you need a 512 gig hard drive if you're only using 200 gigs? Like, why would you get 512? And I would tell somebody, I'm like, well, it helps with the hard drive if you have double the space that you're using, because the more you fill it up, one, with SSDs, the more they're going to wear down. And two, when you have more space, you get a better performance. Think about it like a truck. Let's say you got a truck that can pull 10,000 pounds. Do you think the truck is going to perform better on gas mileage if you have 9,000 pounds in it and the capacity is 10,000, or if you have 5,000 pounds in there and the capacity is 10,000. If you have a truck and you need to pull 9,000 pounds every single day, it would be better for you to get a truck that can pull 16,000 pounds so it doesn't wear on the engine that much and do this and do that. And I swear to you, every single time that I've broken down that conversation to people, they're like, oh, I get it. That makes sense. And that's what you have to do with people is instead of alienating people, you have to just relate to them. Okay. A lot of times you have to meet people at their level. Sometimes people are way up here and you got to do some reading, you got to do some research to like catch up with people up here and have a conversation. The other times, people are down here and they don't care and you just got to come down and meet them at their level and you can have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. I'm actually screwed because I sold my 16 Pro Max. My only iPhones in my house now is the iPhone SE Gen 1. Hey, yo, hop on Swapper, baby. Get on Swapper. Get on Swap. I mean, look, to be truly honest, if I wanted to, I could go on Swapper and buy a 1 terabyte iPhone 15 Pro Max. And there's probably some still on there for sale that never updated to iOS 26. You got to look around. I just have to suck it up one day. Hey, look, I think you'll be fine. Okay. I mean, we've done this before with so many OS upgrades. And I remember what iOS was it? Was it iOS 8 or 10 where something drastically changed and people were like, I'm never using another iPhone. This is so ridiculous. And then we just adapt to it over time. Michael Peppertech says that truck reference makes me think of how you should have an AC that is designed for higher than needed square footage, shouldn't pass 80% capacity and realistically 50% is better. Yeah, that would actually be a better thing. But yeah, I mean, all the time I use examples to explain technology to people. And once people understand, then it's much better. Like, okay, I would break down to somebody, they'd be like, yo, why should I pay? And this happens a lot of times. Why should I pay $1,000 for a phone? Why should I pay $1,100 for this phone? And then I'll ask somebody and I'll say, okay, what are you going to do with the phone? If you are someone who is going to call, text, and scroll social media, and you don't need 3 cameras, and you don't need ProRes, and you don't need all of these other features that are exclusive to a pro phone, don't buy a pro phone if you don't need those other features. Now, now the 17 Air, and the 17 Pro, and the 17 Pro Max all have the same type of screen technology. I could understand if back in the day before all four of those phones had those specs, if you were a person that said, I like the Pro Max screen, I need to have the Pro Max screen, I need to have an OLED, I need to have that over a LCD because I love the way the OLED screens work. I would say get a Pro phone because that was the only way you could get it. But now that it's available on other stuff, if you don't need all that, then okay, don't buy the more expensive thing. Buy the cheaper thing. When you explain that to people, they're like, "Oh, I get it now." Because so many people are under the impression that they have to get the biggest, best thing. And that's one thing that we as tech creators have kind of pushed on other people because it's not sexy, okay? It's not screaming a lot of views to really talk about base model phones. And it's been that way for a while, okay? Talking about the regular 17 doesn't do much for people. So yeah, some people it does, or yeah, you might get some views here. But what's the news cycle always around? It's always around the pro phones. Oh my God, the pro phones sold out. Even though most of the time the lower end phones sell more in volume over time. But everybody's going to the pro phones that sold out this weekend. Everybody's going to the fact that, oh, well, the iPhone Air, you can go to any Apple store and they're still available. What's so special about that phone? And I'm like, okay, well, the Air is available. Guess what else is available? The 16E. The 16E didn't sell out. The iPhone 17 didn't sell out. The iPhone 15 didn't sell out. Does that make it any less of a phone? No, but people are going towards these extremes. And all of these extremes become the news stories. And if something doesn't sell out on day one, if it's not to the point to where you have to pre-order it, and if you don't pre-order it, the shipment date moves all the way back to the middle of goddamn October, then oh my god, it's a failure. Oh my god, why would I even mess with this? So it's a crazy thing. 120 hertz is a peasant feature now. Yeah, like I said, back in the day, some people had to spend a lot of money to get 120 hertz, and now everybody has 120 hertz. And so a lot of people are just not really fully educated on what they're jumping into. And I remember I was in chat, like a Twitter chat earlier, and I was talking about the fact, like, if I was still working at Best Buy, if I still worked as a rep, I would ask people first what they need and what they're going to use the phone for. I am not going to sell you a phone that you are not going to really use to its fullest capacity. Now, if you say, "Hey, I want the best battery life, I want the best screen, I want all the features and this, that, or whatever," then go for a pro phone. But 9 times out of 10, you don't have to sell nobody a pro phone. There's a lot of people out there that'd be perfectly fine with a 16E. But oh my God, us as the tech reviewers, we would slaughter. How dare the iPhone 16E exist? You can go get such and such, Samsung phone. And that is a disservice because if somebody wants an iPhone and they just want a cheap iPhone, there's nothing wrong with getting a 16E if they're on a budget. If you tell somebody, "Hey, you can get this phone for 4 or 5 you can get this phone for 4 or 500 bucks. You could get this phone on a carrier deal for free instead of coming out of the pocket almost 5 or $600 down for a down payment because the Pro is in demand." Like, nobody is relating to people. Everybody's being fucking super expensive nerds and shit. Ah, man. Yo, what up, Mike? Man, look, I'm out here streaming. I'm trying to get my hours up, okay? Because I got to 3,000 hours and I'm like, all right, I'm in the clear. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't turn on ads until I get to 4,000 hours. So, um, daily videos, I'm probably going to alternate. I'm probably going to stream one day, drop a video one day. I'm not really going to try and drop a video and stream in the same day, even though I technically did that today. Let's see. iOS 7 was pretty drastic. iOS 10 was awful, and they fixed everything with iOS 11. Apple seems to do this every 4 or 5 years. Like, yeah, that shit like that happens. Man, look, I remember back with Samsung, people used to complain about TouchWiz. They were like, "Man, this shit sucks." Then One UI came out, and everybody forgot that TouchWiz was even a thing. From preschool pictures to icons to flat, sophisticated, intelligent design. Let's see. Do. Yep, yep. I like how Apple put their best phone. I like how Apple put their best panel on the base iPhone, but Google and Samsung can't/won't, even though Samsung makes the displays for their own phones. Hey, there's pluses and minuses to everything. People can drag Apple about every single thing, and there's stuff that people can drag Samsung about with multiple different things. I love that you are back at it, bro. Man, look, I'm trying to get it back going, okay? Because look, I had a video do well the other day. Like it hit 10,000 views, and there was no monetization turned on and whatever. I was like, oh man. And so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And Apple has overhead costs from buying from Samsung. Yeah, symbiotic relationship. Samsung, they get benefits from that. Apple, they get benefits from that. So there you go. My coffee money. Hey man, every little bit adds up because to be honest though, let me get to this comment before I just that. They put the M14 displays on all the new iPhones, which is quite something. That definitely is. So here is my thing, right? So as I am coming back to YouTube, as a little sidebar here, as I'm coming back and I'm uploading, my goal is this. My goal is if I buy something to cover on this channel, I'm gonna have the channel cover it. Okay. Long gone are the days where I am going to go to work and supply money into buying things and the channel don't even cover it. Like we not doing that. Because I will be honest, I was sitting at work, I was on the Apple website earlier. I was like, man, you know what? Should I go out and get an iPhone Air and just use the iPhone Air and use it like a regular person and not complain and be bitching about it only having one camera and only having this and all having that? Could I go get that phone and find a way to make that work? I could, but based off of AdSense from one of my other channels, I've only been making about like $100 a month. So yeah, I would need at least for like $700 of that to be paid because I'm not going to use that and keep that phone. Like if I'm going to cover stuff, I need the little reinvestment thing to happen. So once I get monetization turned back on and I can start earning more money from this, I can start pouring that money back into the channel and we can kind of go from there. But being straight up honest with you guys, you're probably gonna be looking at some commentary and some live streams for a while, at least until we get things going back into the swing of things. To be truly honest, if I wanted to, because I have some money left over from the previous, AdSense, because I had to go into like a separate bank account. I could take that money and I could trade in my iPhone and I could go to the Apple store tomorrow and pick up an iPhone. But that's kind of stretching it because I'm still adding in some of my own money. What I would like to do is I would like to get to the point to where I don't have to trade this in and I can just keep this and possibly just give it to my kid, and then just get the iPhone outright and not be like, "Oh man, I got to make money back off of this." Like, no, I just want to just pay it off. I want to do the payments. I want to jump through the hoops. I don't want to jack up my credit card usage and drop my credit score just because I'm trying to chase fucking dreams on YouTube. Like, I'm trying to make it make sense. No $1,000 drop test? Hell no. You will never see me do a drop test on this channel. The only way I would ever do a drop test on this channel is if a case if there was a case manufacturer that came out and said, "Hey, we want to do a sponsorship deal with you and we want to do a sponsorship dedicated video where you talk about this case and this phone." And I'll be like, "All right, cool. If you want to drop test, I need you to pay me the money. So if this phone breaks, you have to pay for the repair." That's the only way I would do it. And I would still need money on top of that. Like I am not risking my phone without some sort of return. And to be honest, no one else is. Like all these other YouTube channels that are doing these drop tests, flying to Australia so they can buy the phone early so they can do a drop test, setting up machines that drop phones in sequence directly flat on concrete, taking hammers, bending phones, hoisting them up and dropping them. They're all making money from this stuff. They're not doing it just because they love it. They're making money back on this too. They're not coming out the pocket and losing money. So I'm about that same life too. Like I'm not about to be sitting here just straight up losing money just to satisfy people who are not paying. The only way that they're paying is just by watching. It's technically kind of free for them. For the longest time, people were using ad blockers and still watching stuff for free. So no, the same way that people wouldn't go to work and work for free, I ain't about to be doing that on this channel. Michael Pepper Tech says, Trent, I'm glad you're back. I'm sick of watching the same crap on streams every week. No shade to other people streaming, but your take is refreshing and I can appreciate that. Yeah, because I'm tired of it too. We're all tired. We're all tired of the same old stuff. And it's not even realistic. Like, you can get behind real world stuff because you can relate to it. But what you can't relate to is just the ridiculousness that is going on for views and to grab attention and stuff like that. Like, um, look, I'm gonna bring this. Let me bring this up here because this is a real world thing. Okay, I'm not trying to hate when I say this, but this is more of a like, look, let's be honest here. Let's have a real conversation. Okay. And this is a tweet I made earlier. Okay. And right here it says influencers. Okay. What? Who? Who that is not an influencer? Look in the left picture. Who is holding their phone up to a skyscraper to show off the color of their phone without a case on it? That is an influencer move. Regular, everyday people are not doing this, okay? That's an influencer thing that is done for attention. I'm not saying it's wrong, but that is an influencer thing. And then if you look to the right where you see somebody holding a phone and you just see the case on there, that is the population. That is most people. Most people are going to get a phone and put it in a case. That is realistic. Okay. More people can relate to the realistic things in life than they can relate to the advertisements, the presentations. It's cool to look at, but in real life, yeah, find somebody, find somebody doing this out here in the real world, okay? And take a picture and tag me on Twitter at Trenton's Tech. Tag me on Twitter. Find somebody who's doing that that's not an influencer. Ain't nobody doing that shit. Nobody. Nobody. So it's a little bit more relatable when we come back to this type of stuff. Okay? Like that's where we're at with that. What do you think of other YouTubers on the iPhone Air? What I think is, I said in my video before, most people that were talking about the iPhone Air, we're talking about um, YouTubers who got it first, tech publications. A lot of them weren't looking forward to using an Air as their main phone. It had a lot of compromises that, with being a Pro Max, S24 Ultra, Pixel 10, like the best of the best phones. We're talking about people who are using goddamn $2,000 foldable phones on a daily basis, and you're asking them to go to a less feature rich phone. Of course, they're not gonna be like, "Yo, this is the phone for me," because they're used to other phones. They're used to these higher echelon phones. And unfortunately, most of them didn't put themselves in the shoes of somebody who doesn't care about multiple cameras, who doesn't care about their phone trying to go 48 hours. You know, that's what I think about. I think it was kind of set up from the like just the wrong angle. Now, there were some people that did appreciate it, but you could look in the comment sections and a lot of people are like, yo, this phone ain't for you. My mom would enjoy this phone. My mom actually is gonna be here, in a couple of days, and I'm gonna take her to the Apple Store for the first time, and I'm gonna show her the iPhone Air, and I'm not even gonna tell her the price. I'm just be like, "Yo, do you like this phone?" I already told her, like, when she gets into town, I was gonna buy her an iPhone, because she's never had one, and it was gonna be a gift from me to her. And I don't care which one she picks. I'm gonna be like, yo, pick the one that you want. You want a pro, get a pro. If you want an air, get an air. If you want whatever you want, I will tell you what the pluses and minuses are, and you can pick based off of what it is. But a lot of regular people are gonna look at the air and be like, yo, this is a nice phone. And I know there are some people out there that have a triple lens camera and almost never even use the telephoto camera ever. Like straight up. Techie Mike says, I'm getting back to a Thursday and I got something dropping in the morning. Oh, cool. Welcome back, man. Give me a second here because I might have to leave out here in a little bit. I got to see where we are at with this game. So let's see. Guardians. Let's see. Okay, it's the bottom of the seventh. So yeah, I'm gonna have to head out here in a little bit because I gotta go pick somebody up. Don Coleman said, dude, new battery and the $359 buyout and the 15 Pro Max is my kid's high school phone. Yeah. I mean, these phones are expensive. They get cheaper over time, but they still start off as expensive. Trent, that's cheating. Just showing her the Air, show her that 2 terabyte Pro Max too. Hey, I'm gonna show her everything. I'm gonna look because my mom, she cares about price. She may just go with a 16E. I could probably show her a 16E and she would be like, you know what? I really don't like carrying around this big phone. I want a smaller phone, and a 16E is a smaller phone. She could, even though the Pro Max is popular, she could go with a Pro. She could go with a smaller screen. She could go with something that's, more one-handed because, like my hands compared to this phone, this phone's fine for me. In her hands, this phone is like ridiculous. She'll be doing this probably more than this or having to do some extra stuff. So, yeah, this phone is bigger than the phone that she has right now. So, like I said, it's up to her. My mom has a regular iPhone 16 because the Pro models are too big for her, so the Air will be good for her. Yeah, and like I said, it's also like it's a jewelry piece. Okay, I would say this. I honestly, no cap, if I were to get an Air, and if I could just put like let's say I'm gonna step out somewhere, right, and I'm gonna be looking nice, no jeans, like looking nice or whatever, and I'm gonna have on dress pants, or if I'm going to a wedding or doing this, I want the lightest phone available. Okay. Sometimes when I go out for walks, when I have this phone in my pocket and I have I have my AirPods in, this thing is dragging my sweatpants down. I have to tie my sweatpants extra tight because of the extra heft that this thing takes up. There were times where back when I had the LTE plan on here, I would just leave with my watch and my AirPods. I don't have the LTE plan on here anymore, but I would just do that just to have something light. There are some days where I look at this Pro Max phone. I love this phone, but god damn it, if I could get something lighter and just do it seamlessly and just be like, all right, boop, I want to use this phone today. Boop, I want to use that phone. I would do it. Wouldn't care. Absolutely would not care at all. So but yeah, kind of like just going back to everything else. Like I said, once again, controversy sells. Okay. Positivity does not sell. And the other thing I wanted to go to, let me go ahead and share my screen here once again. I got to go through my notifications here. Where is that at? I made a post earlier that I wanted to share with you guys, and I completely forgot what I called it. So let me go do. All right, yeah, here we go. This is it right here. Let me go ahead and share this wonderful screen here. All right. Do. There we go. Now, I want y'all to look at this. I'm not hating on this guy, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this is where all the scratches are coming from. Okay. This is where the scratches are coming from. This is where the broken screens are coming from. Why? Why are y'all laying these phones on these rough ass rocks? Putting these phones at risk to get dented and damaged. Why? Why are y'all doing this without cases? Okay. Why? This is this is why we have the controversies, okay? Because while this looks like a cool picture, okay? Pardon my French. But who the fuck is doing this that's not a goddamn influencer? Who? Who is doing this? Who is putting iPhones in trees? Who who is taking phones and laying them on rocks? Who who are taking these phones and lying them flat down on stone surfaces that have the same grit as sandpaper? Who? Who that is not a tech YouTuber? Who is not an influencer and getting, oh my God, like stop. Stop doing this. Please stop doing this. I beg you. Put a case on the phone. Put a case on the phone. You could do the same thing with the case on the phone. This is what leads people to false hope that they can do this shit. And then when they do it, that's when the scratches come. That's when it's, oh my God, I can't believe because they were sold on this false notion they could walk around cases with a phone and drop it and it could be put in all these damn situations and it's not going to break instead of putting a fucking case on it. You got clear cases, God damn it. Use them. Clear case. Ah, man, man, oh man, oh man. Yo, Jason C, what's going on? Yeah, it's good to be back on YouTube. I've been trying to go it for a while. Bonnie says some YouTubers break for videos, and that's true. But it's just be selling like this false narrative. I like my iPhone on the rocks. That's how Siri gets drunk. Yo, that's a good one. That is definitely it. Yo, you should retweet this and put that in the title. That is a good one. That's why we made phone cases. Yep. Clear cases are so fucking ugly. Hey, clear cases might be ugly, but it's not as ugly as that scratch. It's not as ugly as that dent. But that's what people tell me. People are like, "Oh, well, I don't put a case on my phone because I like I like to see the beauty of my phone. I like to see the art. What's the point of covering up the case?" That's what literally like people come back in the comments and, they say that. I'm just like, once again, pick a struggle. You either want the phone protected or you don't. There are so many cases out there. So many cases. So many protective cases. We What did they say? We have the technology. We have the availability. It's people out there that can get Amazon shipping on these cases and they can show up the next day. You got some of the stuff, if you order enough of it, it'll show up the same day. You can go walk into a Best Buy and pick up a case, right? No, 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 no. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Or yes, you could put skins on there. Rather have cap, cap genosis. I'm calling cap on that. But hey, I just got the text message. I gotta head out and I will see you guys later. So no crazy outro or anything. Thanks for stopping by the stream, but I'll see y'all later.